Ah, herbalism. Who has not thought of herbalism at one time or another? Probably most of you. But on the occasional few, some of you may have thought of herbalism, tried herbalism, practiced herbalism, or currently are attempting to do herbalism. Some of you may have considered or thought of yourself as a powerful witch or wizard brewing these magical herbs. Some of you may take a more practical approach and just take it as an actual science. Still, some of you might even be Potter fans and are thinking of Severus Snape and the Master of Potions. Regardless of how you perceive herbalism, its purpose and use, and how you choose to use it or attempt to use it, it does leave one question which we are going to try to answer here today. Is herbalism dangerous? Hi, my name is BlazeLeeDragon, and thank you for tuning into this video. We will be discussing just that. Is herbalism dangerous? What's the big deal? Well, let's go into it. And yes, it's very dangerous. The question is, what's the big deal? It's herbs. They're natural, right? You just pop them in a drink, make a little tincture, possibly mix them with some sort of ointment to rub on your skin. You know, hey, they're great. They're fantastic. They come straight from Mother Earth. Why wouldn't I want to use them? Well, that's very simple. Poison. Some of the herbs that are out there are actually poisonous, and ingesting them will cause big issues. Not to mention the fact that depending on what you are taking and what you might be allergic to, and what I mean by taking is different types of medications or things that you're already on, there could be adverse reactions and effects. So yes, taking herbs can be very, very dangerous. Yes, it's actually a big danger to just go ahead and start taking stuff. Even if you're doing research on your own, you're looking them up in books or the internet, which of course I hope you're researching anything that you would even consider ingesting. You know, whether it be a tea that you're taking or even an ointment that you're mixing with alcohol to rub onto your skin, whatever the case may be, you should do some research. And I don't just mean a little research, a lot. Modern medicine as we know it today obviously owes its roots to herbalism and different of the arcane arts, as we like to call them, magic, mysticism, whatever you want to call them. At one time, there was a study into different types of way to really take care and heal someone, and one of these methods, of course, was using herbs, using roots, plants, berries, etc. Then the science today that we, of course, call pharmacology, of course, has its roots in all this herbalism stuff that has been going on for who knows how long. I actually don't have exact dates for you. But what I can say is it was pretty common practice among many different societies. And to this day, it has been pretty dominant where people still want to, hey, let's mix some herbs together and do natural remedies. Well, that's good and dandy and all that, but there is a reason that people have researched these drugs before they let people consume them. Even today, I highly recommend research and study and actually going out there and becoming a certified herbalist. Yeah, there's actually such a thing as a certified herbalist because of how dangerous it has the potential of being. Sure, it's cool to have all these jars with all these herbs and different stuff that you can use as home remedies, and are they better for you? Maybe in some ways that they are. But at the same time, like I said, if you are currently taking medication, depending on how old you are, conditions that you may have, allergies you may have, you know, the FDA kind of does a lot of research onto the stuff before it hits the consumers. Now, that's not to say that you have to stick with modern medicine only, although I do highly recommend including it. If you are going to do the herbalism stuff and you don't want to get certified, at least be cautious and aware of what you're doing. Keep a track record and a journal of what you're taking, when you're taking, how much you're taking. Because, you know, again, this is your health. This is your body that you could be affecting. Of course, we've all heard of some of the natural home remedies, different ways of using honey, different ways of using peppermint, and some of these are fine to take. Sometimes we have these herbal teas that we can purchase, and they've already been tested. They've already been, okayed to consume. However, if you are going to go and start gathering your own herbs, you need to be aware. And if you are a certified herbalist, you know what I'm talking about already. Depending on the herb itself, there is certain parts of the plant you can consume and you can't consume, depending on which plant it is. And also, when you are consuming it, there's certain ways of preparing it. You can't just necessarily throw it into some hot water and drink it. You can't just necessarily mix it with some alcohol and make some sort of tincture or whatever the case may be. You can't necessarily just burn it, turn it into some sort of incense and then just breathe it in. You have to be aware of what you're collecting, how you're collecting. It's important to understand the different measurements and quantities that you're consuming and just be conscious of that. Not to mention the fact that even when you do measure it out and you do collect it properly, it's only good for so long. Stuff will spoil over time. You can't just leave, my arcane herb collection sitting here on the shelf, and I've had it for 15 years. Now, are there things that might last that long? Sure, that's very possible. But at the same time, this is something that you are either putting into your body, absorbing through inhaling, or putting through your skin. Just be aware of that. Be cautious. This stuff can be dangerous. That's not to say that every single herb out there is horribly dangerous, but it can be. Anything has that potential. So just be aware. So herbalism, awesome stuff. Hey, who doesn't want to go grab a boline like you see in this picture right here and go out and, collect some herbs right from Mother Nature in your own herb garden from your backyard? That stuff's fantastic. That's awesome. But just be wary. I cannot stress that enough. And it stands a little bit further than just using it for yourself. If you are suggesting to another to take some sort of herb or mixture or concoction that you may have come up with on your own, yeah, this person now is being at risk for what you're offering them. So talking about it's not a bad idea. Talking about some of the research that you've done is not a bad idea. But, let that person know that, hey, taking this herb is something I may have heard, but do some research. Let them know of some of the dangers that they could come across. The same thing if they want to start collecting or dabbling on their own, encourage them. Go out and get certified. Go out and actually learn about these herbs. Don't just assume. Get into some pharmacology too. That's not going to hurt to have the other side of it. And there are books out there. There's Incense Oils and Brews by Scott Cunningham. Fantastic book. There's all sorts of books out there about the way of herbs, or there's so many. I'm trying to think of some of the good ones. First one that came to mind is Incense Oils and Brews because it's so easy to work with. But there are tons of books. I could probably go on naming them for a while if I actually looked them up prior to making this video, but I did not. Regardless of the book that you're researching or looking through or trying to find information on, or what website that you might go to, don't just stop there. Do thorough research. Check multiple locations. Check with somebody who's actually using herbs today. Do some research on some YouTube videos. Just get out there and talk to people. And one of the best resources is possibly talking to your doctor about it. Now, your doctor may not be into herbs. They may be against it. There are certain ones like doctors of osteopathy, DO, and they're more towards the natural curing and using natural elements. They might be a little bit more open to that. Or actually go out there and see an actual certified herbalist if you don't want to become one yourself. There's a lot of information to learn. I just want you to stay safe. And because many of my videos have to do with some of the arcane studies and stuff, I thought herbalism was a great thing to talk about. Just because I love it, you possibly love it as well. Just want you to stay safe and be aware of what you are consuming or using. So thank you, and if you found this video helpful or liked hearing my opinion, please don't forget to thumb up, like, and subscribe.